Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, the 20th of September here in Sydney, Australia. I've been up for a few hours now and doing this video just to keep momentum in the chat. Momentum can die pretty quickly at the end of a cohort for a number of reasons. Like everybody kind of goes, hey, I've done my 30 days, I've done the course, and what now? And, we all kind of scuttle off like cockroaches back to where we came from. And on the one hand, it's encouraging that you've done 30 days worth of content, or you've done 20 days or 15 days or whatever it is. I guess the key thing is to just keep going. And the reason that's important is people care when you turn up. And I know that sounds like a typical sort of, sort of comment that you hear from motivational people and memes and things like that. But the reality is, when you keep pushing yourself through, and I found this through myself, you start to develop new skills, like just micro skills, whether your brain starts to think a different way, whether you start to produce content a different way, whether you view content a different way, whether you start to think, how do I incorporate what I've seen from Clive or what I've seen from, you know, Aid or Vernon or Roman or whatever, and you start to just put that in. How do I do that with larger creators? How do I do that? How do I learn to comment and stuff like that? So it's really, really important to just keep going, and it's easy to stop. And the amount of people that I have seen that connected with me on LinkedIn and on X, and then after Ship30, and then like a year later, I don't really follow content unless it sort of rings with me or I connect with them. But I'll go have a look at their profile, and they haven't posted for like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. And when you look at, especially on Twitter or X, when you look at the direct input that they have put, so when you go to their profile, you can see how many tweets or how many posts they've actually had. And so when you look at somebody like Dickie and Cole, and they've got like 15,000 tweets, their follower growth is going to be huge, because it's a direct correlation of, like, what you put in is what you get out. And it's not just like garbage in, garbage out. It's like it's stuff in, and it gets better and better and better because you're constantly just like looking for the signals. So this is basically the purpose. Just keep going. I've got this post of Vernon coming out today. I've got to write the copy now. This sort of stuff is really fun for me. And one other thing, I did have my meeting yesterday with uh, the agency CEO, this company called Thunder Labs, and it was a really interesting meeting. It reminded me that we are always selling, and when you're selling, you're not talking about content, you're talking about value, and you're trying to understand what the problem is and what the value of, not the solution, the value of the problem is, and then how does your solution potentially bridge that, or what is, and in the words of Clive, and this is something that is just constantly sticking in my head now, is what is it that you do that is going to create the bridge or the intervention to solving that problem? Because that's the hedge that they're making on you. And I realize that I cannot solve his problem 100%, but I can provide an intervention or a hedge so that he can try and fix this problem. So in saying that, it's not like, hey, I can't fix your problem, but give me some money to do this. So that's what it was. And ultimately, we are now sort of in, we've had the first meeting, there's been some discovery. Salesman's hat has come back on. And this, I think, is the thing. This is one of the challenges with Ship30, because once you've done the writing, you still have to learn the sales skills to negotiate and go back and forth. So I caught up with my stakeholder, my champion, I suppose you call it, and I asked him, like, what do you think next steps are, et cetera, et cetera. He told me, and I'll share this with you because I want you guys to give me feedback. And for those that are newer and have to understand what it's going to be like to actually. Not everybody's going to come to you and say, "Hey, how much does this cost?" And yeah, here it is. That's not going to happen. They're going to go, "Hey, this is my problem. Can you help me?" And I go, "Yeah, how much does it cost?" And then it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's sales. And they don't teach you that in Ship30. What they teach you is to produce content, and that's the premise of the course. So I asked my I asked my champion. I said, "Look, what do you think next steps are?" And he said, "Look, um, he writes. He posts 5 days a week, and he has a hypothesis and a particular view, and you can see that. But what is the value to him?" And he went down the path of like time versus hours type sort of methodology, and I'm trying to move away from that. Well, I'm moving away from that. And and he said, you've got to think about how you're going to come back with a proposal. However, having said that, if you're able to generate and ghostwrite for him for a month, what is that going to cost? But then what does he get at the end of it? You said some really cool things like, you could create a lead magnet, you could create an ebook, and then by the end of it, you could even have the backbones for a book. What does that mean? What does that mean to him? It means a lot because he's a founder, he's got ego, he wants to grow stuff. And I say all this stuff with respect. So they're the things. I've started to work out my pricing. I've started to work out what would that be. And then potentially what are the other opportunities? Could he then outsource me to other people to find leads? And remember, I'm not just a content creator. I ghostwriting is kind of not the thing that I wanted to do, but it's kind of pushed me that way because of the way that I generate content. I still want to do sales and go to market stuff, but what I found is that when I'm doing the sales and go to market stuff with Red Dot Connect, that's really hard. It's like it's a lot of manual work and stuff. So, like sometimes what you want is not what you think it is until you start getting it. And sometimes what you don't want is what you think, what you realize it may be. So all these little things, um, wanted to just keep you guys motivated to keep going. I'm posting. I'm going to post again tomorrow. I'm going to do some more carousels on how-tos. And yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from so on the 1st of October. I think it was like early October, 1st of October, we go again. So first Monday in October, we go again. And I'll keep posting videos here. And in the school channel, please promote because the more people that join, the better. Um, so yeah, have a good day.